And today's recording is inspired by the letter P for patriarchy. So I'm posting on social media and still trying to figure out how I'm going to post my podcast. Like I'm doing the video over top of my audio so that people can watch it or listen to it so it can pop up as a video, because I notice I get a better response versus just the static regular podcast, what do you call it, cover that they normally do on YouTube. Because I'm uploading to YouTube first, and then I'm gonna upload to like SoundCloud and then my own site for the Goddess Divine episodes. But so I made a video about not competing with men and how women who say that they need, they can't be around women, they do that because of patriarchy. Just like women who are quote unquote messy. First of all, men are messier. Ask me how I know. The ones who are women are messy, quote unquote, because of patriarchy. Patriarchy is a system, just like racism. It runs very, very deep, and it's like a virus. It infects every single part of your life to the point where you don't even realize it. Feminism is the response to patriarchy. There was no need for feminism if there was no such thing as patriarchy and misogyny. Period. So in feminism, women and white feminism, well, no, all feminism is the same for me, especially under patriarchy. Like it's exactly the same for me, because you're still trying to compete and have a voice in a system that was never meant for you to begin with. I fell for it too. It's okay. It's okay. That's why the systems have to fall down, because there's no need for them. We don't need them anymore. So all it is, oh, we have to fight for our rights. If it's your right, if it's something that you're supposed to have, why do you have to fight for it? Girl, they got me too. So anyway, so one person said, I don't understand how is this what does patriarchy has to have to do with competing with men? Like patriarchy is a system X, Y, and Z. And I noticed this thing where there are a lot of people who have baseline level understanding of what something is because of videos and stuff, surface level videos that they watch on social media, but they don't go any deeper into the research for themselves to fully understand how it affects every aspect of your life. They don't. They consume a lot of videos on TikTok, and that's what TikTok does. And they depend on, excuse me, they depend on the people who upload the videos to tell them everything. So there's no further reading, there's no further research or anything like that. And I'm noticing that more and more with whatever the fuck, Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Ironically, they don't really do research, but they're always on the internet. They don't, and that's every generation, but I'm noticing in bigger numbers, because the people that are the ones that are responding to my videos are the ones who are younger than me. You can tell by looking at their profile in their videos. They look like babies. Like they look like either teenagers or they're in their 20s. And I'm like, if you understood what patriarchy actually is, you would understand how it has infected every aspect of our lives, and how deeply you have to go to undo everything that it was taught. It's just like religion, not for religion, not even just everything that it was taught, but why it was taught to you and what it does to you. Because there are absolutely some nuggets in religion that is good to know, and even some practices that are good to know. But because of colonization and white supremacy and shit, it's been tainted, even patriarchy in religion. Because when you go through some of the man-made Hinduism beliefs, I'm like, y'all restrictive towards women as well. Oh, we're not even just restrictive towards women. Y'all are very restrictive. For y'all to talk about being free and stuff, you can't do this and don't do that and only do this on Saturdays and only, it's just not for me. It's just not for me. No. But you have to dive deep into what patriarchy actually is. Needing to prove yourself that you are smart to men, patriarchy. Needing to prove a point and arguing for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours with men, patriarchy and misogyny. Trying to prove to them that you're as smart as them or you're smarter than them, patriarchy. Arguing with a man, period, patriarchy. Arguing with a man, period, and you ain't getting paid for it, patriarchy. Misogyny. They want you to compete with them. They want you to prove to yourself that you are worthy of acknowledging that of them acknowledging that you're as smart as, quote unquote, as smart as they are. When I have yet to meet a man that is as smart as a woman. And the men who are the smartest out of the bunch, they have learned openly from women. It's like there's this teacher. What is his name? Bobby Hermit. Now, you don't have to go down deep into the occult line if you don't really care to with him. But he always credits a lot of the stuff that he knows to femmes and to women. Always. And I love it because in his teachings, you know, when he used to do, I think his last known recording was under 2012, I think. Because supposedly he's alive, supposedly he's not. He hasn't been heard from on the internet in in almost a decade. But I think his last recording I saw was like '09, or it may have been 2010. I don't know. I ain't scoured the internet for all his stuff. He has hours and hours of recordings. And it's no wonder that he's a Sagittarius. I got hours upon hours of recordings that I'm gonna have to work through putting out, man. I realized I had like 300 or 400 recordings. I was like, at this point, I'm just about to put them in. So if y'all hear any coughs and sneezes and any signs of me passing out, y'all just gonna have to deal with it. Because all of the content I have to go through and try to edit out and all the sounds and shit. No, you just gonna listen to it. I'm not wasting my precious time going through and making it digestible for people. Whatever you hear in the background sounds like any really gross noises or anything like that. You just gonna have to hear it. It is what it is. Then when I feel like putting on a production, I'll do that more. I digress. But he credits every single thing that he has learned to women. He stayed talking about what the divine, well, he doesn't say the divine feminine. He says the feminine and feminine energy in the womb, and even if you don't have a womb, there's still an energy with you. Even if you don't have a period, there's still an energy with you that follows you, and the mother, and this, that, and the third, and he even talked about honoring the divine, the feminine, which I have talked about prior to hearing about him. I was like, the most successful men honor some type of woman, even abusive men. They honor some type of women when they're successful. There's one or two people. Like, and it's so funny because people saw that tattoo of Diddy on his back or whatever. The reason why Diddy has come out with so many female artists over the last however many years is because he was trying to, well, it's a lot deeper than that, but I don't feel like going that deep. Because Diddy isn't even the tip of the iceberg. He's the distraction. He's the distraction. He's not even the worst of it. Trust me. He was doing so to balance the energy of some of the shit that he may or may not have been doing. And it worked. And it's still working. It's a rabbit hole you have to go down, y'all. Like, I've spent hours going down that rabbit hole, listening to interviews and music and watching different, even like the behind the scenes back in the day. There's a lot of tidbits and snippets and stuff that, yeah, the esoteric shit is so deep, y'all. But anyway, you honor, he always says that. And the men, because it's mostly men that be at his teachings because they love listening to a man. It's no different from the Andrew Tates and what's that nigga with the shoes? Kevin Samuels. They will collectively gather around and listen to a man over a woman, not realizing that the best male teachers learn from women. So that also shows you patriarchy, misogyny. You'll listen to a man or a woman who is male-centered, because even a lot of those Afrocentric women are still male-centered. They'll talk about the feminine all day, day in, day out, but then they'll talk about, oh, the black kings and this, that, and the third, as though they're their saviors. I'm like, you're oxymoron, sis. No, you are the savior. You are the ones that's supposed to bring forth the message, not him. He can bring the message to them, but it's coming from you naturally, sis. But they'll gather around and listen to him because he brought up he talked about sex, and I like how freely he talked about sex. For someone who is still stuck in purity culture, he may seem like, or not even purity culture, for someone who may not be comfortable with men, because you have to go through a healing process. You have to heal that father wound, and it may take a while. You may not be comfortable with men talking about certain things, even if they don't mean it in a creeper way, because of patriarchy. Do you see how even that ties back to so younger me, like even just a few years ago, wouldn't have been that comfortable with him discussing sex the way that he does. He literally just talks about it freely. And he doesn't do it often, but if the topic has to do with sexual and creative energy, he will. And he talked about like how sometimes you want to get you what do you say, you want to get your freak on with somebody and you can tell that she's a refined hoe. He's to get you one of those refined hoes because they're going to know how to put it down, but you're going to also learn something from them. He didn't say it that fast, but he to pull him in because I noticed how he teaches. I could see the glimmer in his eye. He pulls him in with the topic of sex and fucking women, right? Because he was like, get you one of them refined hoes, the ones you just missed her whole. He didn't say whole phase because this recording was like back in 2000 something, I think, or maybe the 90s. He was like, get you one that you just missed her whole phase. He's like, you the ones that she's refined now. She's has an air about herself now, but you could tell she was doing it back in them days. And so of course the men were just clapping and all this other type of stuff. Then he said, you're gonna also learn something from her because the system, and he immediately brought it back to patriarchy. He said the system has tried to police her for so long that her sexual freedom, like she's supposed to be able to express her sexual freedom, but she's not safe to. They got quiet. He said, if you talk about a woman as though she is less than because she's a sexual being, that's what we are. He said, that's what women are supposed to be. You are supposed to not enjoy like it's all for you, but you are supposed to basically be honored that a woman is being sexual and she feels safe enough to be sexual with you, but you are talking about her as though she's worse than dirt because of the system that tries to control her. The room went quiet. And then he kept talking about how, the system and patriarchy keeps women in their feminine energy, sexual energy, creative energy down. Niggas ain't say shit. I, all I could do was laugh because I'm like, I learned something from him. Like I know how to story tell, but he story tells in a way, especially when it comes to women, that the men, it seems like the men are going to be the only ones to agree with him because they still want to objectify women. Even though they're there and they're there to learn about how to be enlightened, they still have the residue of patriarchy and misogyny and misogynoir still resting over their heads. So now they're trapped. And he done talked about all this other type of stuff. He talks about white folks. And when I first listened to him, I thought he was like one of those Afrocentric motherfuckers, but something told me to keep watching. Like I've gotten a lot of references for books because I talking about referring back to what I was talking about at the beginning. I don't want to rely on someone else's teachings for me to learn. I want to learn, even though yes, books are someone else's teachings, but people can read a book and see how to manipulate people and then twist what's in the book to fit whatever it is that they're doing. So I would rather, if I listen to somebody, I'd rather go back and do the research and go through the source work as well to see what's what for myself, because that's a good thing. I tell people all the time, don't trust everything that I say. Go ahead and do your research. I stopped over explaining myself now, even on Twitter or X, because if you believe what I post blatantly, you have not been paying attention to what I've been saying. Sheer Seven said the same thing. She was like, it baffles me when hoes, I'm saying hoes, when hoes want to basically try to blame me for why their life went south with an abusive man. She's like, I never once said date a man or marry a man and not have anything else going for yourself. I never said put your trust in a man. Matter of fact, I say don't do that. I say, don't trust them. She was like, only the dumb women think I said that. She's only the women who don't watch my full videos and watch my full lives and they just want to go and run off and do whatever they want to do and expect nothing to happen to them. She's the only they think that. I've never said that. So you have to leave people to their own devices. People, and sometimes if you do give sources, people ignore that still and think and believe what they want to believe because that's what they're ready to believe. That's what they are. That's the level that they're on. And no amount of sources will try to reprogram. No amount of sources will be able to reprogram everybody at the same time. That's not supposed to happen. But patriarchy and men are to blame, period, for a lot of the issues that are going on now. But it's healing. I'm noticing so many more men. Because the page I think that I saw Bobby Hermit's clip on that was talking about the feminine energy or whatever, I think it was owned by a man. Like he was posting some of the not so shared posts. Because a lot of those Afrocentric posters, they'll mostly only post like, the shit talking about white people for some reason. And I get it, it's trauma, but it's time to get over it. For some reason, black men are obsessed with talking about white people. I'm like, I get it. Duh. What else? My ex was like that. I said, okay, so now that we know these things, all right, what are we doing now? Where are we going from here? Because all this talking about we was kings and the Egyptians and this, that, and the third, what are you doing with that information? Nothing. Just sitting in it because your ego wants to know that you were something besides a slave. What are you doing with it? If you were a king before, how are you going to be a king now? And child, when I tell you he blew the lid off that daggone, the roof off that daggone house because I pointed out his shit. I said, what are you doing now other than talking about the same shit that niggas have been talking about since the 90s? We was kings, Egypt. What are you doing with that information? Are you going to stay plugged in and choose Wi-Fi and technology? Or are you going to go live off the grid and live in peace, separated from racism and white folks and stuff? Well, racism is everywhere. Yeah, but it's less everywhere when you're not in the city, when you're not in heavily populated places. And I don't mean in sundown towns, because we chilling out here where we are. The black men got either nicely shaved heads or full heads of hair and full beards out here. I don't know what y'all talking about. What are you doing with the information other than parroting it over and over and over and over again? How are you using it to your benefit? Because even Kanye figured out how to use it to his benefit. I'm just saying. And if you got in your feelings about that, then you are not ready. You still learning. But what are you doing with that information? There are quite a few men who have seen the fuck shit and they're tired of it. They're calling it out. They're being public with it. They are openly more supporting women. And I don't mean those podcast bros who are trying to flip the script and they're getting all the Facebook aunties and shit who wasn't already aware of them. I mean the ones who literally have been calling them out for a minute. Like they are tired. Like one man started, he was yelling on his page. He was like, cause y'all, what he said, he was like, y'all niggas never, he said, y'all never talk to men the same way that y'all talk to women. Y'all some bitches. He said, y'all got all the smoke for women as though they your mamas who didn't change your diapers enough or who told you boys don't cry. But when it comes to men it's talking about the same shit, y'all ain't got shit to say. You bitch, like he was, I think his video got taken down. That him. Hey, he was dark skinned too, turning red in the face. He was, it's just, it goes, the same thing goes for like veganism. They got all the smoke for women who post vegan, like copycat. Like I made, like one woman made, I think it was carrot ribs. They got all the smoke for women, but this man made a burger, and it did look like an actual burger, a burger and chicken or something. I follow him on YouTube. I'll share his name at some point. I gotta find it. It's Plant something. Black man, real chill. I think I saw one person in his comment section saying anything about the fact that it's not meat. And that on Twitter and on Instagram. I mean, Twitter and on YouTube. I said, so y'all bitches got all the smoke for women. But when a man do it, you bitch out. Scary asses. Y'all got daddy issues real bad. And it's coming out. And the men are even tired of it. So we are going back. We are in a time when we are healing a lot more. And the feminine and the masculine are coming together. It's about time. Been about time. But as far as patriarchy goes, there are so many people who have no idea how deep things run, but they won't do the research. And I'm going to use them for content. I'm going to use them for content. That's exactly what I'm doing. One comment I responded to in a comment, just a regular comment, because what did they say? Let me see. Oh, it's going to stop recording. I didn't screenshot it. Basically, they were like, I don't see this as a necessarily a bad thing, calling out men's behavior. Da, 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 da. I was like, how is that competing with men quickly? What is what? And then it was like, this doesn't make any sense. Calling out men's behavior is not bad. I said, what does that have to do? Exactly. What does that have to do with competing with men? You're saying something I never said. Because their level of understanding also, a lot of people have poor media comprehension skills. Like I know I can take a little bit to understand certain concepts and like at more advanced topics, it takes me a little while to understand. But baby, some of them, and then they're so hyped to argue. But then I have to remember that a lot of them are children. So many of them are children. And they think with emotions first, like I used to. So I give grace, but at the same time, I'm not going to not say anything. Because people will say, oh, give grace, but then they don't correct. They let people run around stupid and rampant, and they don't say anything. And I'm like, baby, you can correct them. Please correct them. You don't got to argue with them. Don't argue, never argue. But you can absolutely correct them. Just because they're young doesn't mean they can't be corrected. You don't allow people to stay stupid because they're young or, oh, they're stuck in their ways. No. Correct them and go on about your business if you want, if you want to. You've grown, but what is this video? I'm over here trying to make sure I got all my files together for this video I'm editing. But yeah, I've seen so many people be like, oh, they're young. Don't correct them. No, they're young. That's the perfect time to correct them. Don't fuck their ego. Listen, just like with older people, correct them as much as possible, or else they're going to continue to spread stupid around. And y'all want people to be all right with folks spreading stupid around because, oh my goodness, don't hurt their feelings. You can't say anything. No, fuck that. Fuck that, poo. No. Stop spreading stupid around. Stop spreading misinformation around because of somebody's ego. Oh, you're going to make them feel bad. I'd rather make them feel bad than allow them to continue to spread stupid. Because they are loud and wrong. They don't even understand half the shit that they're saying. And they spreading it around and they keep telling people the same stupid shit. And I'm like, no, all of y'all are wrong. And the best time to be corrected, trust me, because I got corrected a lot. Especially when I was a lot younger. The best time to correct them is when they're younger. Because by the time they get older, you're like, oh yeah, hold on, let me do my research before I start saying shit. Then let me shut the fuck up because I don't know what I'm talking about. But no, oh they're too sensitive. Don't shut up. Correct them. Trying to clear out my They'll be all right. They will not die by being corrected. I mean, they may have an emotional death, a ego, what they call an ego death. I don't believe in that either, but what they call an ego death they may have, but a part of you has to die, so to speak. A part of you has to evolve. A part of you has to grow. Not really die, but you have to grow. You kind of have to, what's a better phrase, I guess, to say with that? You don't have to die, but for me, it's like it is death. I'm Scorpio energy. That it is death. You have a part of you has to die in order for you to grow, in order for you to learn from your past mistakes. You have to learn to let go of what you thought was in order to learn what may be. But yeah, patriarchy is to blame. That was my point. But yeah, patriarchy is to blame. That was my point.